was thinking a little bit more about the Dear Daddy video. And I was thinking that, it's actually quite a horrible victimization of someone to place a label on them undeservedly that they can't really defend themselves from, either by means of, the fact that they're young and impressionable, or because the label itself is something that's often considered to be indefensible. It's been said that charges of racism and sexism, regardless of whether or not they're accurate, are very difficult, almost impossible to defend yourself from. And the more that you actually try, the worse things look for you, particularly if you're a white male. Now, in the case of being young and impressionable, I was thinking a lot about a friend that I used to go to high school with. And her husband died several years ago. And she's got two young kids, a boy and a girl. She's actually got an older girl too. That would be my daughter. This is my ex-wife I'm speaking of. And she remarried after we divorced, and unfortunately her husband passed away. And her little boy is, her little girl is a sweet girl, but her little boy is the compassionate one in the family. He is the sensitive one. He is the one who will do anything for you. He's just the sweetest little boy. And it's not because he's a boy. I would say it's because that's his nature. That's who he is as an individual. But this Dear Daddy video is such a terrible indictment, a universal indictment of all young boys. I wonder what the impact is of telling a young boy like this, that he has the original sin of maleness, and it includes all these things like sexism and brutality at an impressionable age. This, to me, is a horrible injustice done to what otherwise is one of the most sensitive, caring, and compassionate little boys that I've ever met. Now, hopefully he never gets this message, but it tends to be a little bit pervasive in our society. Boys are broken. Boys are a brutalizing rapist in the making. That's the pervasive attitude out there, at least among the people who constitute the background noise of discourse. The halls of academia, unfortunately, and all of the feminist, the ideological feminist backstory is that. The fact that somebody could listen to the Dear Daddy video and not see this, to me, is evidence of that. An otherwise rational, compassionate, educated human being, such as a friend of mine who posted this on Facebook and said but one word when posting a link to the video Dear Daddy: important. Well, I would agree it's important that girls are not called whores. And I would agree that it's important that girls and women not be raped. And I would agree that it's important that women not be brutalized by their husbands. But I would also agree a lot of these things don't operate in a vacuum. And I would also agree that that any victimization of men and boys is equally reprehensible. Equally reprehensible. Specifically, the victimization of anyone of a young and impressionable age is ultimately the most reprehensible. And I would just like us to think a little bit about our attitudes towards boys and our blind acceptance of messages like this that are such a universal indictment of maleness. It's an original sin. Thanks for watching.